Oh, I can't tell you how honoured I am to be. I'm really surprised, and I do thank you all for those lovely messages. So I'll probably say what Stephen and people have already said, but anyway, you know a little bit about my journey here. But today, I when I was asked to say something or do a video, I thought, well, I'll say something. It isn't about that, because I think that was explained. I don't want to keep talking about our journey. I just want to think that things might get better. So what I've put together is, this is my subsequent journey from getting involved, from what happened with Bob. And so he had a foot ulcer, and Val Proven, who's the nurse consultant, but involved in skin viability, tissue viability, at the time, got it sorted and said, do you want to join this group? So I did. So this is my journey, and I couldn't believe how much I've done actually. And I hold some of you in this room entirely responsible for that, even though I know I'm responsible for rushing through to see what's on the other side of the door. So then the patient participation group at my surgery, and then I worked with the King's Fund on an amazing project enhancing the healing environment. And I think the healing environment is such a wonderful expression, a wonderful descriptor. When you think about prisons, when you think about mental health facilities and all sorts of places where people are cared for, it's a great descriptor. And then Neil McGreevy and Anne McGrady interviewed me. I didn't think you did that when you were a volunteer. They interviewed me for this CCG, and that's where I first took this map to show what had happened to Bob and I. And they were great influences at the beginning, opened me lots of doors. And then I worked with Donna from social care, adult social care. I can't remember her last name, and she's not with us anymore, which I don't know where she is now, but on the Cumbria Dementia Care Pathway, we put a lot into that, and it is still around, and I think it's still a valuable project. And then Anne-Marie rings up one day and says, there's this going on and that going on, and opens doors, and would I take part? Yes, I take part. And then Stephen was my GP in the 80s. So we had a great catch up where he reminded me that the people he was taking over from, while he'd be having a little quick smoking cessation session with the patient, there'd be smoke wafting out of one of the consulting rooms because the other GPs were smoking, so it was tricky walk, line to walk. Then the success regime, which some of you will remember, was a bad place to be, really, and there was a lot of anger from people about what was happening to community hospitals, what was happening to their beds, all of that, and I can remember all of that, and from that came a lot of positives, so hopefully the integrated care, and I was kind of in at the business case end of it, I didn't even know what that was. And then Stephen mentioned the rapid improvement projects. That's extraordinary, to just go into a hospital ward and sit with the staff who'd been given time out and be able to just put my point of view, so I thank you. And then as well as that, we worked with Tony Hall, training healthcare assistants, upskilling them so that on the ward they might be able to do their blood pressure or whatever it was they were going to do, but other things as well, and notice some things. And we won, and that was amazing. It was cocktail dresses, by the way. Thank God it isn't that today. And then I got involved with the primary care commissioning group. That was an interesting group. It's all about how GP practices operate there. What happens when they close a list? What happens if they join another practice? And that was really interesting for me. And then the integrated care community steering group, and I don't know who asked me to join. Thank you, whoever it was, because that integrated care, that is what I wanted from what happened to us. Just wanted people to talk to each other and people to help us as patients know where we could go to get that help. And then I did a CLIC TED talk, and I was quite pleased with it. It was miles too long. Don't look at it, but it was all right. It was miles too long compared with the usual ones. And then the ICB exec, and I was asked if I joined the dementia subgroup, and Ed is here, and Mandy, so thank you. And then John Rush sent me this Guardian advert. John Rush, you'll remember, was the lay chair of the CCG. I saw this and thought of you, he said. So I applied, and that was hellish really, because I had to get the CV sorted. And I hadn't done a CV for about 20 years, but I kept the odd bit of notes. So that was a brilliant opportunity. And I tell them all the time about the good practice in Cumbria. That's what I really want to do. Because sometimes they tell me about when things aren't going right, and I can say, look, I know, and I only share what I know is public domain, obviously, but it's a pleasure to be able to do that. But I had a bit of input into the social care white paper and advanced care planning, which is hugely important to me. What matters to you being the first question that we ask. So thank you, John, for the opportunity at the BMA. And then I was involved with personalised care with our international nurses about having those conversations to understand the whole context of the patient. And then the older people's mental health and dementia group, which is across the ICS. And I thank David Newman, who I've worked with before, for getting me involved with that. And then I bring a Cumbria patient voice. And then Suzanne here, would you like to get involved with the Cumbria Integrated Care Partnership? And I've been at a big conference and been able to put my views there and stay involved. And I'm looking to see how there is patient representation right as high as it can go. And that's what I'm banging on about. And then the last thing that I've been involved in, but I guess there'll be other things that will pop up, is the idea of This Is Me for dementia, people with dementia who are in hospitals, and just having a little booklet that tells you a bit about them, so that when nurses on the ward and other people on the ward get to know the patients a little bit better, they can perhaps understand better their behaviours and their anxieties and so on. So thank you. So I've just added a few things. What have I got out of being a patient representative and a volunteer? Well, I have got a PhD in acronyms, I can tell you that. So, any you want to know, just see me afterwards. I've had this privileged opportunity and understanding for a start, and I understand more, and I can ask more focused questions. There's the responsibility and the commitment, and I know that I've built up relationships with colleagues. So I've actually had, including with Ed, an online discussion just with him. What a privilege to be able to have that opportunity, and time with Mandy about dementia and the patients she looks after. And I've been able to talk to them separately and say, can you just fill me in a bit more about this? And that's a great honour for me to be able to do that. Then there's hoping you've made a difference in some small way, and I know Stephen said lots there, and I often ask myself that question, and maybe I change the way somebody talks about something, thinks about something. Maybe they go away and they input something I might have said into another area. The whole has been utterly energising and absorbing. It's been an education, it's challenged my thinking, and it's made me go away and reevaluate my ideas. But the main thing is, as I think I said in my own video, which I wasn't expecting to see, by the way, that patients are partners in their own care experience and journey, and that any of us here can help in a better understanding of that, so that we can have a bigger say, ask questions, make better contributions, and improve the work that all of you do as you care about us. So how to get more service users involved? $1 million question. I have an answer to that. And I have tried, believe me, I have tried. I've increased the numbers of patient representatives on our own group at my surgery. So I'm very proud of that, including teenagers. They tend to clear off to university, of course, but I've got another one lined up. You might have to bribe them. You might have to bribe them. I had to bribe one of them with a ticket to a concert, I think. And then they've got to tell them afterwards what the deal was. And also one of my PPG colleagues came to Lock in the Lakes and loved that as well. So a couple of ideas, maybe with greater digital use now, we might try an online event, so that we might look at something where patient participation and co-production has really made a difference, and see if we can get people along to say, this is actually what happened, here's the evidence of what happened. Maybe get some more people like me involved, just to see, maybe we can see how we really make a difference. And the other is the idea of a North Cumbria patient participation group, general group. And I know we're not all equally engaged and equally active, but we could start with the convince. I can't begin to describe a huge debt of gratitude to those that I've worked with or work with today. Thank you for recognising that I can make a contribution.